So hello friends, in the last video we have been left till charging by conduction, and here in this video we will start basic properties of electrical charge. This is electric charges and field chapter of physics lesson 1, video number 2, that is part 2. So let's see about the next content, basic properties of electrical charges. Basic properties of electrical charges. As we know, there is commonly three properties, that is additivity of charge, conservation of charge, and quantization of charge. Additivity of charge, conservation of charge, and quantization of charge. The three basic properties of electrical charge. So, the first property, additivity of charge. Let's see about it. What is additivity of charges? Additivity of a charge means there are two charges like Q1, Q2. In these two charges Q1 and Q2, the total charge is equal to Q1 plus Q2. They just add up like real numbers. So what does this line mean? They just add up like real numbers. Which quantity gets added up like real numbers? Scalar quantity gets added up by real numbers. Scalar quantities get added up by real numbers. So it's a scalar quantity. Another proof that charge is a scalar quantity is that it has magnitude but no direction. This is also the definition of scalar quantity. Scalar quantity has magnitude but no direction. So charge has magnitude but no direction. They add up like real numbers, the normal additions of scalar quantity. Suppose if there is a question arising like if there is a question that there are 5 charges. If there are 5 charges of plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4 and minus 5, or do this minus 3, it's better. Plus 1, plus 2, minus 3, plus 4, minus 5. So what is the net charge here? In some arbitrary unit you can say it. I have not given any unit. It may be coulomb. Suppose if it's coulomb, then you will get the answer in coulomb. Any arbitrary unit. If it is given in the same unit, the answer will come in that unit only. So the answer is Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4 plus Q5. So plus 1 plus 2 minus 3 plus 4 minus 5. What will the answer come? Here this will get cut and the answer is left with minus 1. Any arbitrary unit, same unit will be given here. So like this the scalar addition goes on. Additivity of charge means this is the additivity of charge. Nothing more given in your syllabus. Then conservation of charges. In the same way, charge neither lost nor gained, transferred from one place to another. In the same way, conservation of charge is also nothing. So what is conservation of charges? The total charge of isolated system is always conserved. It is not possible to create or destroy the net charge carried by any isolated system. So this is conservation of charge. Neither can be created nor can be destroyed. So it cannot be carried by any isolated system. Net charge cannot be carried, and the total charge always remains conserved of isolated system. This is all about conservation of charge. Now let's see about quantization of charge. We have covered this also. Now let's see this one, quantization of charge. What is that? So now we'll see about quantization of charge. What is this? All the free charges are the integral multiples of the basic unit of charge, which is denoted by E. As you know, normal basic formula is Q is equal to NE, and when N is equal to 1, we get Q is equal to E. If n is equal to 2, we get it 2E. When n is equal to 3, 3E, 4E. The same way, these all are the integral multiples of E. Isn't 3, isn't 4, 5. These all are the integral multiples of E. So in the same way, the quantization means the integral multiples of the basic unit of charge. This is only term. This is the main key point. Integral multiples of a basic unit of charge. All free charges are the integral multiples of a basic unit of charge. That is that this particular terms, underlined lines, are the quantization. And what is that? It is defined here. Q is equal to Ne. Integral multiples. This was first suggested by Michael Faraday and was demonstrated by Millikan. The SI unit of charge is known as Coulomb, C, and ESU unit and EMU unit. There are also two units, ESU and EMU. The ESU unit is the start Coulomb and the EMU unit is the AB Coulomb, AB Coulomb, and ESU unit is the start Coulomb. So this was all about additivity, conservation and quantization. Basic properties of electrical charge. This content of this chapter is over. The next content of this chapter is Coulomb's law. But before going to Coulomb's law, as usual, we'll do some questions. I will see if you can understand me or not. Then we'll shift to Coulomb's law. Let's do some questions first. Also, before shifting towards the question part, write some info. The E means electron also. Okay, charges, you know this on the lower classes also. It's better to write approximately. It is 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Then its mass is 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. It is also approximately 1 point minus 1. Yeah, it's okay. Now P means proton. Proton's charge is also approximately 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Its mass is also approximately 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. Then neutron charge is, this is not approximately, I'm sorry, charge is neutral and mass is 1.68 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So electron, proton, neutrons, charge and mass. So these are the values. Please always put this on your mind. These are basic things and you have read this earlier in your previous classes also. So now let's do the questions. So the first question for you is, how many electrons are there in 1 coulomb of electricity? How many electrons are present in 1 coulomb of electricity? How many electrons are there? Pause the video and do the solution and send me the answer that you got, so that let's see if my answer is matching with yours or not. Now let me do the solution. The basic formula, Q is equal to Ne. Now N is equal to Q by E. So as we know, it's given here Q is equal to 1 coulomb and E we know 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So here you will get approximately 6.24 into 10 to the power 18 electrons. If you calculate it, you will get this. Say if you don't get it, I will make you understand about how basic division goes. Well, I hope you will get this answer. It's just a basic, easiest question. Now let's shift to the next question. So here the next question for you people are, a sphere of lead of mass 10 gram has net charge minus 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 9 coulomb. The question is, find the number of excess electron on sphere and how many excess electron are there per lead atom. Atomic number of lead is 82 and mass number is 207 gram per mole. Pause the video and get the answer, and if you don't get it, then please do write in the comment box. Here I am doing the solution, and see it if you are not getting, and after seeing it, do it again by your own, then you will get it. So here it's given charge of electron, how much? Minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Basic thing, you know it. Our question is, how find the number of excess electron? So number of excess electron on sphere is equal to minus 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 9 by minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. So here you will get it around 1.56 into 10 to the power 10. So this is the answer, minus 1.56 into 10 to the power 10. Then let's see the next bit. Atomic number of lead is 82. So 10 gram of lead will have 10 by 207 into 82. So 10 gram of lead will have 10 by 207, sorry, I'm really sorry, 10 by 207 into Na, which is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms per mole. Atoms per mole. And by solving this, you will get it around 2.91 into 10 to the power 22 atoms. 2.91 into 10 to the power 22 atoms. So our question is, number of excess electrons per lead atom. So number of excess electron per lead atom, it will be around 1.56 into 10 to the power 10 by 2.91 into 10 to the power 22, and this answer will be around 5.36 into 10 to the power minus 13. So I hope you would have got this. Now the next part of our content is Coulomb's law. So what is it? It is a quantitative statement about force between 2 point charges. It is a quantitative statement. It is always inversely proportional to square of distance between two charges and directly proportional to the magnitude of two charges. Like F is equal to K, it is a constant. Magnitude of charges product, it is always directly proportional here. F is proportional to magnitude of two charges and F is inversely proportional to the square of distance between two charges. This is the Coulomb's law formula, and here K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It is pronounced as epsilon naught. Its value is around 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12 coulomb square per Newton meter square. It is known as relative permittivity of free space. K value is approximately 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square. This K is also known as dielectric constant. The K is also known as dielectric constant. And always remember this one more formula. It is epsilon naught is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon naught r. This is a formula. Epsilon of medium, let it be epsilon of medium, it is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. This epsilon r is relative permittivity of medium, and this is dimensionless. and epsilon on r is always greater than, here in this case it is always greater than 1 and is also denoted by K or dielectric constant of medium. And permittivity, this is relative permittivity, and permittivity of medium will be epsilon is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. So here's a question for you on the basis of Coulomb's law. A proton and an electron are placed 1.6 centimeter apart in free space. Find magnitude and nature of electrostatic force between them. Very simple question. If you can solve it, then do, and if you can't, then see it here. Suppose this is a proton and this is a electron. The distance between them is around 1.6 centimeter. So as we know, we have to find the force. Magnitude and nature of electrostatic force is asked here to us to find out. So we will see force. What is force formula? K Q1 Q2 by R square. So this is our formula. Forget the magnitude here. It's better to write it like this. So K Q1, K's values is 9 into 10 to the power 9 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 of proton, and of electron is minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19, and r square is 1.6 centimeter. We have to convert it into meter, so 10 to the power minus 2 square, r square, and the answer you will get is around minus 9 into 10 to the power minus 25 Newton. And this negative sign indicates the force is attractive in nature. Do you know why didn't we use the magnitude sign here, mod sign here? Here it's asked magnitude. Alright, we will get it. Magnitude means the answer will become 9.59 into 10 to the power minus 25 Newton. It's okay. But the next bit is nature. How will we get the nature? If we get the magnitude, we'll take the mod of Q1 and Q2. Then if minus sign will be there, it will also get converted into plus, and plus sign will also remain as plus sign. So we will not be able to identify which is repulsive force and which is attractive force. So in order to identify it, we will not take mod. If we don't take mod, then we'll get the original one. Here it's coming minus 9 into 10 to the power minus 25 Newton. And this force minus sign indicates the force is attractive in nature. Then let's see another question. The next question for you all is nucleus uranium-238-92. It emits an alpha particle. At any instant, alpha particle is at distance of 9 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter from the center of the nucleus of uranium. Find forces at that instant. So see the solution here. Uranium-238-92 will split into an alpha particle, which is helium-42, as its atomic number and mass number, atomic number 2 and mass number 4. So 238 minus 4 is 234 and 92 minus 2 is 90, and this is of thallium. So this is the equation which we have got from the question itself. It emits alpha particle. We got the alpha particle helium-42, and we have subtracted this as it will be a balanced equation in this form. So we have got it. Now force formula, as you know, K Q1 Q2 by R square, or you can write it as Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught into R square, as K value is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught R. Then after splitting the formula, F is equal to KQ, got it like that. Then uranium-238-92 has 92 electrons. Okay, alpha particle is emitted. It has 2 electrons. So charge on residual nucleus is 92 electron minus 2 electron of uranium and of alpha particle helium. So we get here is 90 electron. So we got Q1 is 90 electron and Q2 is 2 electron. R here is given 9 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter. So F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square, and the answer will come 512 Newton. So do extra questions, and if you get any doubt among those, then please mention on the comment box so that I will try to clear it out. Now we'll read about the Coulomb's law in vector form. So Coulomb's law in vector form is, here is your y-axis and here is your x-axis. I think it has become a bit clumsy. Hope you understand. Let me explain you. Here it's r1 vector, here it's r2 vector, so it's r2 minus r1 vector. Here it is q1 charge, here it is q2 charge. f12 vector, f21 vector. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. So r21 vector is r2 vector minus r1 vector, and r12 vector is r1 vector minus r2 vector. So r12 vector is the minus of r21 vector. So the unit vector A, unit cap A unit vector, as you know the formula, A vector by A magnitude or modulus of A. So r21 vector unit vector is r21 vector by r21 mod, and r21 is minus of r12, so here we get the reverse of it, and f21 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 q2 by r21 whole square, r21 unit cap vector. So see here, force 12 is going in this direction and force 21 going in the opposite direction. r21 vector in the direction of f21 vector, and q1 q2 are present as a substituent charges providing resistance type to these forces. In the same way, reciprocal of f12 and f21 here, both coming towards each other and here both going away from each other. So f12 vector is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 q2 by r12 whole square. r12 vector, here it was opposite, f21 was just opposite of f12. So f12 is also reciprocal of minus f21 vector, so it's Newton's third law. Force occur in pairs, that is negative of each other. Now it's also Coulomb's law proof in the form of vector. Coulomb's law in vector form. We have completed this. So in the next video we will see about electric field lines and those things. For today, I think we read a bit less in this video, but still then it was a bit in detail, brief way. And thank you for watching this video. So thank you everyone. I hope it will help you. Please like, comment and subscribe.